Hello everybody, this is Joseph and I'm really excited to come back to you with another video, especially this video. So the whole purpose of this is to help you specifically with the writing section of the TOEFL. So for many of you, what I've noticed in a lot of tutoring sessions is that there's a challenge to move from, let's say, an 18, a 20, or maybe a 22 to like a 24, 26, or 28 in the writing section. So what's holding a lot of students back, and what may be holding you back if you're getting that score, is this idea of coherence in your essay. So what coherence is like a logical flow of your thoughts, where it's easy for me to follow what you're saying from one sentence to another. I know the topic, I understand, it's clear. So a lot of times what happens is that because of the way we're educated, because of our experience with English and just kind of language in general, we lose that and we forget that we're being evaluated by it. So with that introduction done, what I want to do now is actually teach you what coherence is. And before we do that, I'm going to actually tell you about why it exists that we have gaps in our words, why it is that we have gaps actually in our sentences. So when you write one sentence and you go to the next, sometimes there's some connection missing, so I get confused. And even if I don't get confused, if I'm evaluating your essay, that's a weakness in your fluency. So I'm going to lower your score. So the easiest way I can do this is with a little bit of fun, what I think kind of can be fun. And I actually have a prop here behind the computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this little by little, and as soon as you think you know what I have behind my computer is, I want you to say it out loud. So that way it's a little interactive, just like a tutoring session, which I hope you feel that it is. Okay, so I have it in my hand. And now I'm going to show you little by little, and as soon as you have an idea, I want you to guess it. Okay, so you might be seeing a sliver of it just approaching. So as soon as you can, tell me what you think that is. So I'm trying to be real slow. A lot of you probably guessed it already. Most of you probably guessed it, but you still haven't seen all of it. Ready? Okay, here it is. So what is that? That's an orange, right? I hope you know it's an orange. If not, then we need a little more basic vocabulary, but that's okay. So the reason why I did that exercise is I'm pretty sure you were able to guess that this was an orange before you saw all of it. So that means just maybe looking at 10% or 20% or 50%, whatever, you could already guess it. Well, a lot of that happens when you communicate every day. We have fun communicating, we communicate with friends and family. So a lot of time when we start speaking, the people that we're speaking with, they follow along very easily. They guess what we're thinking and what we're saying before we finish it all. So we're actually being trained to be less coherent. We don't need to be. So for example, if I'm talking about this orange with a friend, I don't have to describe every single part of it, and then I can move on and talk about something else. But what happens when you're taking the TOEFL? Now you're being evaluated on your fluency, on your ability to describe this whole orange. So you've kind of trained yourself not to describe this completely. So you've lost a lot of points because of that, because if you just describe part of this, and I can guess or assume what you're talking about, if you write like that on the TOEFL, you're going to keep getting a lower score. And no matter how good your grammar is or anything else, you're going to stay at a lower score. So now that we understand where it comes from, let's understand how to solve it, how to overcome it. So that's what the next part of this video is going to be about. It's going to be focusing on how do you create coherence in your essays. Now, I'm going to put up on the screen a little essay that I've written, a very short one to teach you this idea. And what I want to do is explain to you that it took actually a couple years to figure out how to explain this so simply. So the main thing is you want to take one word, one topic, one idea from one sentence and make sure it appears in the next sentence. As long as you do that, every time you write with every sentence, your essay is going to be coherent. There's going to be nowhere the grader can get lost. You're going to get a higher score. 2, 4, maybe more points, depending on how much of this is an issue for you. So let's go ahead and look at this. Now you see a question here, and the question is, what triggered me to create this video? So you can imagine this is like a question number 2 on the TOEFL, right? You're being asked about your opinion and you're supporting it. So how am I going to answer this question? I need more than one sentence. So I'm going to tell a little story. I'm going to give a little background. But in doing that, I don't want to lose coherence. I don't want to lose focus. So let's look at the first sentence I wrote. At around 1 p.m. last week, I had a tutoring session with a student. Now this text If you look at the link below this video, or you look at below this video, you actually see this so you can follow along more easily. You might want to print it out. That way you can circle some words as I circle them, and it'll help you learn. So again, at around 1 p.m. last week, I had a tutoring session with a student. If you look at the next sentence, I have to create coherence, right? This student struggled with coherence in his essay. So what I want to do is show you that you already know what word I repeated, right? The word about the student. And as long as I do that, I'm not lost. I'm completely connected here. Now let's look at the third sentence. Many of my previous students had difficulty with coherence. So you see that there's a repetition of more than one word, but you just need one. And here we're going to pick coherence, because that's the topic. That's what I've been focusing on. So you see the repetition there. And if you have the text printed out, you can circle along so you really get it, not only hearing and seeing, but also physically doing. So let's look at the fourth sentence. I decided to create a lesson about coherence for our students. So you see, about coherence creates connection. Again, I'm repeating that word. I also added for our students, which repeats the idea of students. If I deleted those, if I just put I decided to create a lesson, there's not a strong element of coherence here. So you do want to repeat those words. That way I don't get lost, you get a higher score from the grader. Now let's look at the next sentence. Most of our students enjoy learning through videos. So you see here that our students is actually what I'm connecting with from the previous sentence. So you see kind of the flow, right? You just got to repeat one word. As a result, I decided to create the lesson with this video. So I talked about videos before, right? Students enjoy learning through videos. And then I repeated that word, that topic, decided to create this video. And you see that the final sentence answers the question. So as I write, of course I'm answering the question, but I'm going sentence by sentence. So I hope that was pretty clear. I hope that was simple, but coherence is a challenging topic. There's a lot more that I can teach through this. So for some of you, you're pretty fluent, and this video is really going to open your eyes. You're going to get a higher score. For others, this might be a little challenging, and that's normal because this is a tough topic. And so what we actually have is an actual program that we created that goes deeper into coherence so you can really learn it and understand it. And that's going to come out in a few weeks after I kind of release this video for you guys. So I hope you found it helpful. Now the next thing I want to do is give you one final tip. When you see something once, like this video, you create awareness. When you watch the video or review something a second time, you start to develop understanding. And in my opinion, when you look at it a third time, you start to create mastery. So my hope is this video was helpful, and you can kind of just maybe pick a section of this video to review and review it again 2 or 3 times so you really get the idea and focus on applying it when you write your essays. So final tip, do this for question 2 of the writing. Do this for question 1 of the writing, you're going to get a higher score. Do this for the speaking section when you speak, you're going to get a higher score. Be aware of this when you listen to lectures in the listening and when you read articles in the reading, and you're going to follow that information much easier and you're going to raise your score. So I hope you found this video helpful. It's great to talk to you. Good luck in your studies. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and until next time, bye-bye.